Come on, get over here. Gotta get this started. Come on.
Hi everybody, we are back to the Splatter Review episode, and we're going to talk about a couple of other horror movies. A new one, Homo with a Shotgun.
Hobo.
Hobo.
Not homo. Well, we're off to a good start, aren't we?
It says, oh, it almost looks hobo.
Hobo.
Actually, and we're here to talk about horror movies that leads up to this one that are similar to do with unemployment horror films. Yep. And the first one that comes to mind we're going to talk about, because it somewhat has to do with that.
Somewhat.
Clockwork
It
Orange.
is that.
From
Stanley Kubrick's finest film.
And the greatest actor of all time, Malcolm McDowell.
Oh yeah. Well, I put him up there. We're talking horror films or just in general?
We're talking about everything horror films.
So you want to go just in general?
Well, Malcolm McDowell is a horror star, and he's going to be
at the Fear Fest
this summer.
In about a week, 2 weeks, and I can't go.
I am.
He'll be going, but not me.
Yeah, Malcolm to meet him. A Clockwork Orange was from 1971. Now, everybody had to hear about A Clockwork Orange was somewhat a horror film. The reason why we compare it to do with unemployment, because at the beginning, they beat up a homeless guy with a stick to death.
Oh, they beat the shit out of that guy. That was fun.
And a lot of people got disturbed. And also has a psychological rape scene in it, which was also disturbing for its time.
Oh, they fucked him up when they get him, don't they?
Yeah.
Oh, man, he gets fucked up.
Malcolm McDowell, as the leader, gets caught. The troops betray him. They smash the bottle with him. And I remember a classic song he sings, I'm singing in the rain, as he does it. And to make a family movie into that movie, that must be something.
Well, I don't know if you've ever read the book that it's based on.
Yes,
yeah, I have read the book that it's based on, and it's pretty fun. It's really well done.
Yes.
Next in the line
is 1971's Tales from the Crypt, because there's a couple of stories.
The original Tales from the Crypt, not the TV show, not the movies. This was before all that.
And I just want to point out one thing. There's a second one, The Vault of Horror, which are great Hammer horror films from England.
And if they haven't heard of Hammer, Hammer was the greatest horror movie company from the 50s and 60s, was it? 50s, 60s?
All the way from the 20s, because they started with the Frankenstein.
Yeah, from the 20s up until the 70s, they were very
They broke the boundaries from the era.
They kicked ass. They did some of the best vampire films ever made.
Alright, anyways. Tales from the Crypt has the episode where a guy likes to play with children, a rich guy wants to fall off the property. And he ends up having his dogs taken away, he ends up losing his job because he complains to the boss.
Real prick.
And then he comes back as a zombie and kills him, and he ends up losing and going to court because of people like that.
Yeah.
And the reason why we're talking about these movies is because it's a way of celebration of unemployment, which me and Dad...
Celebration? Unemployment sucks.
Yeah.
I got 3 mouths to feed and not enough money to do everything.
And
you have to sacrifice, you gotta bust your ass. Those that have it will not share it.
yes.
And
it's going on in England too now, because the students are getting
the riots.
The riots.
About freaking time. Bring it to Toronto.
Yeah.
Wait, no. I retract that remark because I don't want to be controversial and offend anybody. I'm sorry.
We are the people who are suffering, is why we're talking about this.
We will be heard.
Yeah.
You will not silence us again. I will not be censored.
Alright. And the 5th episode from this Tales from the Crypt one was about a bunch of blind homeless guys staying in a shelter, and the rich guy takes over with his German Shepherd dog, which they remade into the episode. And he takes away everything. He cuts back on their food, he takes away their hydro, their heat. They have to eat like horrible soup, and they end up going broke. It's in the back plan from Tales from the Crypt. They get this guy, blind guy, back with his nails from the wall, and even stick his own dog after him.
I love Tales from the Crypt. They always get what's coming to them, those pricks.
Yeah, and a lot of, actually I want to point out, the TV show in the 3rd season actually has a lot to do with unemployment because a lot of people get fired. Remember those episodes?
Oh, hell yeah, yeah.
And you watch those episodes, they make you feel depressed, they get to you, and then the next minute you love them. And is that how you felt? And you got to stay away from stuff like that?
Well, unemployment's a bitch, don't get me wrong, but, you know, I still have things to look forward to. It's not like I'm going to jump off stuff in the building.
That's why we talk about all these movies.
Okay.
And Scanners.
I want to do this one. I want to do this one. Scanners, 1981? Yeah. David Cronenberg, Canada's greatest horror director ever, hands down. No argument. Did this one. It screws your freaking head up, man. They can blow your head up just by thinking it. Imagine running into one of them. Imagine if you're a boss and you fire one of them. Your ass is grass, man.
Alright, and the other comparison to this one, at the beginning, the guy was homeless.
Oh yeah, yeah. The main character was homeless at the start, then he found out he's a scanner and he blows people's heads up.
Well, let me finish. We're going. Alright, he goes into the Oshawa Center, he gets a cigarette.
Oshawa Center? Oh, we're doing fucking bitch there. He goes into a mall, gets a cigarette, and
picks up food from the tables. I say I can speak. Anyway, he picks up food from the table, and this lady's talking shit. Look at that filth. He's disgusting. He's homeless. He doesn't even know who he is or where he's from.
Bitch don't know what she's talking about.
And he scans her, and she's shaking, and there's vibrating music comes after him, and the scanner the guys come after him. They run up to the escalators, and they shoot him in the dark. Now, a lot of people, a quick point facts, Canadian director David Cronenberg, who did The Fly, Shivers, Rabbit, which I talked about in a couple of video clips. I've not heard of him, especially mostly Canadians.
He also did A History of Violence, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
He is one of the great horror Canadian directors, so check him out. And they're also doing a remake of Scanners. Let's hope they do. I think they'll do a great job.
Well, they can't replace Michael Ironside as the villain, man. Come on.
They can always get a new actor.
But can it beat that villain? Honestly? If you say yes, I'm gonna... You know what? I have to be good.
What about Robert Englund?
You really want to get me started on the Freddy remake again?
No.
Didn't think so.
Now, I had talked about this one in my last episode. Comeback Shock.
Holy fuck.
The most worst unemployed film to ever watch, which is called Comeback Shock, which has another name. Called Comeback Shock. Nightmare and American Nightmare.
Yeah.
Which is the director's cut.
It's about a Vietnam vet that comes back and can't find a job, nobody will hire him. They'll just treat him like shit just after he got back from the war. And
well, he got into a fight with his dad, and they look incredibly poor. This movie will make you want to slit your throat open. It's like a big mole to your head, a face that you can't get rid of.
Yeah, it messed me up for a while.
And they have this baby that's like this decomposed they have to do, and they're getting kicked out by the landlord. They don't got nothing. They don't got zip, not a cent.
They don't got a hot to piss in.
And this guy gets these pimps. I mean, these guys who want money gangs going after him, beating him up.
Yeah.
And he ends up losing his mind. He shoots his wife and shoots the kid. It's unforgettable. It's very raw. It's nightmarish. It's absolutely disturbing. And I'm still thinking about that movie today. It still shakes me up. And you can still relate to this guy, but he's a whole lot worse. They compare it to Taxi Driver. Travis. People felt sorry for Travis.
And you know if it's getting compared to Taxi Driver, you know it's good film.
Yes, because if he could drive a taxi, he was dating other girls, and he was having fun, and 25 years later this movie comes out, it's hard to find. The only director's cut version was ever out was played in France, in Europe. That was the only time he ever played that version. Comeback Shock I like better because they add all the shots and everything.
Have you seen both versions?
Yeah.
What's that?
Comeback Shock.
That version. Okay.
I compare it a lot to one of the great cult films ever made. It's an important movie to watch, so check it out and you will be in shock. If you think you've got problems, well watch with this guy. It's by Tromaville releasing Start Over Again. It's like a bullet to the head, like you don't deserve it. You'll never forget it, even as of today. It's raw trash. All right. Now the next unemployment film.
Oh yeah,
John
They
Carpenter's
Live.
They Live.
This
One of our
is about
favorite
consumerism and how far the man will go to hold you down.